Yes, guys, hope everyone is doing good. Right, so I thought I'd just come on and just have a chat about what's happening so far with Leeds United and all the stuff that's going on at the club, all the situations, transfers, my thoughts and performances this season so far. So I've got like a little list of things I'm going to talk about, some strengths, some areas of improvement. Just have a chat. I like just having videos. It's good doing the breakdowns, but having a nice chat is always good as well. So let's get into it. And the first positive I wanted to speak about was performance. Going into last season, I think a lot of people were very worried about performance, right? Obviously, at the time, it's a very tricky transition, and I think Jesse just played football to win a game. He wasn't necessarily bothered about performance. Um, what we're seeing now, which I've gone on and on about, the Premier League, and for me, players believing in a manager is all about a performance. If you're winning games, but there's no real cohesion between the manager's style and how the players are playing, that would worry me because you're winning down to pure talent of the players or luck, because luck's very important in football. But if you can see a style every week in, week out, you can see an identity in the team that resonates with what the manager wants and the coaching staff want. For me, that's a big positive for your team. As we saw last year under Bielsa, we saw the system. A lot of times players kind of give up on the pitch. I remember against Tottenham, it was walking and stuff, and that made you think, oh, the overlapping just wasn't happening. And it's stuff like that that worries you more than the results for me anyway, is players. Because professional footballer can always pull something out of the bag, which you saw with Rafinha. But as a team, you want to be playing the way your manager wants, and you have to play for your manager. And performances for me have been a huge positive so far. And I get it, we are two games in, but like what I said, what I do is I base my idea on the best what I've seen from that team, because that is what they can achieve. It's about consistency, is where you finish. We know we can play that well, so it's about consistency of doing that week in, week out. Right. And you got to keep up those performances. It's the Premier League. You can't slack in many games. You got to beat the teams around you is the biggest thing. And that's my second point I wanted to get onto. So I'm seeing a lot of online saying, "Oh, it's only Wolves. It's only Southampton, and they're rubbish." And what I would say is this: I don't think that exists this season. Teams are better than others. We just finished 17th. Both these teams finished above us last season. Both of them. Wolves comfortably. And in my opinion, for 80% of both games, we have dominated them. We've not just scraped through a win or a draw. We've dominated for large parts of the game, in my opinion. And I've actually seen from us a much stronger identity. And the other side of that is, we played against these teams. Oh, it's not this team, it's not that team. I don't care. It's about us. It's about how we perform and how we get results. And we are getting results and performing in a way in which is good to see. It's a way which is it's fresh, it's different, it's engaging. The players are expressing themselves, and I think it's going to get better. There will be games we will win a lot. We won't win. We'll draw a lot. We'll lose a lot. It's the Premier League. And the third part of that is who you're expected to beat the teams around you. They will be around us. Whether it's 3 or 4 places below us or 3 or 4 above us, that is around us, and they're the teams that you need to beat. And we're getting points from 2 of them. And we've integrated 6 players into our new system, by the way. Wolves at that point hadn't. So all of their players were there last season and were playing for them last season. They didn't have to do integration. We've integrated players and gone there and dominated them on the first game of the season. Same with Southampton. For 60, 70 minutes, we dominated them with these new players that we've got in. And we really used what the managing and the coaching team have done to great effect. There was issues, and there will be issues, and I'm not saying it is going to continue, but I base my performance each game, and each game has been good so far. And that's why I'm going to get onto Rodrigo real quick. Because again, it's to do with criticism for players. And I fail to And I understand it. People saying last year he did well for a few games, but then he went off the boil. I can't trust him. Yeah, I get that. That's normal in every aspect of life. Someone's you're not doing crime for a few weeks, but then they'll do it. You know what I mean? And then they'll come out of prison and they'll be good for a few weeks and they'll do it again. You know what I mean? But for me, I base, and I've said this, my mind works. His last game was good. Let's build on that. Let's trust him because he's giving us goals. He's giving Leeds what they needed to win that game. Trust him now. If he plays next game against Chelsea and it's a very difficult opponent and does nothing, doesn't show himself, doesn't create any chances, doesn't not necessarily score but show a threat, then you've got to work on that. And if it becomes a point where in 7 or 8 more games where we're saying, well, he's not done anything since Southampton, then that's an area of concern, and the player's probably open for criticism. But to play twice and score 3 goals is excellent. So what he's done so far is done the things he's needed to earn credit and trust, because it's gained through each game, in my opinion. And from like a coaching point of view, the coach isn't just going to say to him, "Oh yeah, you're doing well, but I don't trust you, so keep it up." And I think we've got to just bite the bullet. Last season was last season. This is an entirely new season, entirely new system. And we've seen him thrive in this system. And in a few months, if he's done nothing else, fair enough. But you've got to trust in a player that is doing what he is required to do at this moment in time. Just on the Southampton game as well, talking about the goals and how Jesse Marsch got it wrong with not making substitutions. There's a line for me. There's a big difference between making substitutions which lost us the game. Not making substitutions was a reason that lost us the game, or the reason we lost the game was because the players made mistakes. Those mistakes came from Southampton pressuring us constantly because we didn't make substitutions. That's the difference. You still expect your team out there to put in 1% more to continue until they come off. You're a professional footballer. And so yes, he should have made substitutions. He admitted that. But to say they scored and we drew the game because he didn't make substitutions is rubbish, in my opinion. It's rubbish. I'm looking at the goals again. I did a video on it, and the goals are down to individual terrible mistakes, positionally, and to do with tackling. The first goal, and everyone's blaming Rasmus for the goal, so let me just go through this. The first goal was Rasmus and Adams are surrounding Armstrong. He just kicks it through them both, just a little pass through. Cock gets too close to his man, gets turned. He's in. Armstrong's in because he's quicker than them too. People saying Rasmus dived in. Right. So what's Adams doing then? It's the same situation. He dived in. He went all that way. He didn't block the ball, which is what he went over there to do. And I'm not blaming Adams, by the way. Let me just clarify. I'm not criticising Adams. I mean, I'm just saying what happened. I love Adams. I think he's amazing. He's been one of our best players. I've said this. But it's just interesting because we really like to form a narrative over players. We like to find someone to blame. For the second goal as well, people saying Rasmus should have got in front of Che Adams. But Che Adams has come from... Watch it. Che Adams has come from 3 defenders down. Has anyone called Rasmus man on? He's come from Llorente, then he ran past Llorente, he then ran past Cock, and then he's gone in front of Rasmus. From behind him. Has anyone told him? I don't think they did. Then what happens after that? Maja goes in 50-50 with Adams, and Adams loses the ball. But everyone's talking about how it's Rasmus. And you look at the 2 goals, and you could say Adams could do more in both of them. And I'm saying Adams because he's a player I really like, and I think I could do an entire montage for 2 hours of good things he's done for Leeds so far. So don't, trust me, Tyler Adams is class. I'm just saying we've got to be fair on this. And then when Magic plays that ball, I'm telling you now, Jack Harrison, his position was the problem. Not the fact he's tired. Look, the second that ball went past him, he sprinted 2 or 3 yards to try and make up for it. And you're telling me he was too tired to move? That's why he's out of position? No. As a professional footballer, you've got to notice where you are in position. And I'm a left back. That happened to me. That's my mistake. If I do that, that is my mistake. I'm sorry. I should have been closer to Pascal. He was behind him. He should have been close to Pascal, half facing him outwards. That was the only pass on. There was nothing else. Pascal was watching Rodrigo on the edge. That's not down to tiredness. Mental fatigue is something where, yeah, you're thinking, should I be there? But and that's why I want to get onto it. Kyle Walker-Peters, by the way, who scored the goal, the guy that sprinted up the pitch, people saying, well, Harrison was tired. Kyle Walker-Peters played the same amount. People saying Harrison played more, ran more and pressed more. I'll show you this. So I've got them both here. These are the two guys. I'll just go back a sec. And I'm just interested to look at the heat maps of both the players. He played 6 minutes more than him. The red is where they spent most of the time, right? And if, for example, if I bring like Patrick Bamford up who played less time, look, there's less heat there, right? You know, where's number one that came on? So I go on Aribo here. There's less heat there because he played less. These played a similar amount. And look at the heat map. To me, that's two players that have ran similar amount. Because everywhere Jack Harrison went, he was, and vice versa. So I'm not hearing that tired excuse, to be honest. I'm just not hearing it. It's just positional error. Luckily for us, that's something you can work on easily. They'll get the players in, say you need to win that tackle, and look, just stand 2 fingers and we'll work on that position, talking to Pascal, communicating. That's done. That's my opinion on that. And if the only negative we can see is we didn't make substitutions, and even that's debatable as to if they're the reason we lost the game, even though we should have done that, they're not the reason we lost the game. It's individual mistakes. That's a fact. I'm sorry. Watch the game back. Jack Harrison can step 2 places to the right, and he didn't because he's a footballer, he's human, and he makes mistakes. Who cares? But if that's the only thing you can complain about, then the season's going pretty well, in my opinion. And I'm very happy with it. And just caveat, Jack was excellent in that game. He was probably one of our best players. He was brilliant. So, there's that. Finally, I just want to talk about transfers. Fabrizio Romano's comments. So basically, Fabrizio said, talking in an interview today, people losing their minds, saying, we're not getting a strike, it's negligent from the board, or the board are letting the team down again. We saw this last year. We've signed 6 players, by the way. 7 or 8, but 6 of those will play for the first team this season. We signed 6 players. Let's not forget that. The board last year signed 2, and we should have signed a lot more. We signed 6 who will start and play. So, but anyway, what Fabrizio said. So he's talking about Leeds, said, the right opportunity and Ganato could be the final surprise for Leeds United at the end of the window. And he brought Ganato up, sorry, the young lad. Is it Ganato? He brought him up and said he could be a surprise for Leeds at the end of the market. And people are taking out this that we're not signing anyone. What I'm saying is, there's a possibility we don't, but from what he said, he brought him up. Wasn't asked about Ganato. He said he could be the final surprise for Leeds at the end of the market. So that's to me says we're just waiting a little bit and we're seeing what happens with other players, seeing what's happening with the team. And in the last few days, I think we could go in for him, if I'm being honest. I think we will get a player. I think we'll get one more in. That's just what I took from him. He didn't say we're not getting anyone. He did say we're looking for the right opportunity. And he said Ganato could be the final surprise for Leeds, the final surprise at the end of the market. So to me, that means we're waiting a little bit. And people feel like, why are we waiting? Yeah, that's club stuff. I have no idea. But maybe you can get a cheaper deal at the end when the club need to sell him. I don't know. That's that. And yeah, this is all this video was, just me having a chat. Going into the next game, we've got Chelsea. Chelsea at home. Chelsea were really good the other day. Really good. Which Chelsea will we get? How will we shape up against them? It's going to be interesting. Brighton away after. Well, there's a cup in between there, isn't there? 2 tough games. I think also you go into every game thinking you can win, but if I'll be honest, if we can get... Oh, this might be controversial. I think if I came out of those 2 games with 2 points, a draw from each, I think I'd be happy. Don't make me wrong. I want to win every single game, but let's be realistic. We're Leeds United. It's Premier League. If you can get a point against Chelsea, that's really good, obviously. Anything against Chelsea is excellent. If you can get a point against Brighton, I think Brighton are a really good team, guys. Really good. I really like Brighton. I think they're excellent. The players and the manager, I think they're really good. I don't think away as well against Brighton. I think a point's decent. But let's see how the game goes. We could easily lose and we could easily win that game. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, that's all. I hope you guys are doing well. And about the sound, just a quick one about the sound. I'm sorry if it's quiet. I don't know. Because I obviously watch it back and for me it's fine. So I don't know. I've turned it up again. But I don't know if it's quiet. I'm working on it, but I don't understand what the problem is. For me, it sounds alright. So I think depending on what you listen on TV and it's different. I don't know. But if it's quiet, I'll try figure it out again. But yeah, thanks for supporting.